Hi, this is Ravensmaw. This is gonna be a really casual video. We're gonna walk through creating an adventure for my new campaign, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about how I use some of the features, connections, maps, things like that inside of the campaign manager that I use, which is Scabard RPG Campaign Manager. I like it because it's very easy to use, but sometimes you get in there and there's so many things you can do. It's a little hard to figure out where to start. And I'll just show you where I start for your basic 1 to 2 night adventure. All right. So that's what's coming up next. This is Raven's Maw, and this is GM Tips. Okay, so how do you create an adventure? Well, everybody goes about it a little bit different. As a game master, you might pull somebody else's module out and sort of adapt it to your own world. And boy, there's all kinds of resources out there on YouTube or any number of Reddit sites that walk you through how to create a good adventure. I tend to think of mine as basic storylines, right? So a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the end in mind, obviously, I don't know exactly how it's going to go because my player characters write the plot of all the stories. But I try to keep some idea about how I want it to have some drama at the end. I want it to have a big fight at the end. And I also don't want to bog my adventure down in so many combats that you lose focus on the fun part to me, which is telling a great story together, right? So the game master and the player characters and the players all telling a story together, acting out their own parts and letting the dice do their part as well. So I'm gonna jump right in. I'm gonna go into my RPG campaign manager, which you're looking at here is Scabard. I'm gonna go ahead and log in here, and Ravensmaw is my login, so you see that. And we'll go to my campaign. So Legends of Sicaria. See this really cool map that we use for my campaign. Now I am lucky. I've got a player who's also a relative, a brother who is killer at making maps, and so a lot of great maps that I use in my campaign are made by him, and he just loves doing it. I don't as much. I like using them. He likes building them. So that's what you're seeing there. That's Sicaria. So one of the cool things about the features here is your maps can be connected in. And you can see here, I've got, as it starts to load, and one of the, I'll actually show you how I do this. This is actually loading straight from my drive, my Google Drive. And so the way you do that, I'll actually show that to you. If you go up to your edit and you use this URL right here, right there, you're just going to take this, which is the code there for that particular image. And that way, if my brother goes in and updates the map at all, it's going to update automatically. Now, if it's a big map, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer to load, and that's what you're seeing there. All right, so I'm going to save that. So that'll load that up again, and I'm going to pull up that map. And you'll see it load with all these different sites here. Now, a lot of times these are actual adventures that I like to link into the main map from my campaign. So you see Venture into the Temple, Attack on Portaglass, all these. And these are great tool tips here. And if I go up here to Larrakesh, this is where my adventure is going to take place. You'll see there, it also has a map, right? And we can click straight over to Larrakesh from right there. And this is where I'm going to create my new campaign and the adventure that we're going to use. So from this point, I actually like to jump into the adventure creator. And so I go to the top here, you click the plus button, make sure you're logged in, otherwise you won't see that. And it takes you to the adventure builder. Now, if you don't have the adventure builder, I highly recommend it. And actually, let me go ahead and move myself to the other side over here so you can see. You can actually click down on the plots, and there's a bunch of them built in here, and very, very creative. You know, essentially he's arguing that almost every adventure is there's basically 34 plots out there, and everything's sort of a variation on a theme, right? So I go through and I try to think of which one I think makes the most sense for the adventure that I have in my brain. if I'm just kind of going from scratch, sometimes I'll just choose this basic adventure here, which is your basic sort of Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 adventure. But I actually am thinking of a breaking and entering adventure, one of my favorites, because I think I want the players to break into a little place in my town called the Museum of Grok. They're going to get in there and they're going to hopefully try to steal an object that was stolen from them. So they're going to try to steal it back. So we're going to go in there. The breaking and entering adventure is the one I'm going to choose. And you'll see immediately this updates, right? And this is pretty simple. Really not much to it. In fact, that's kind of what you want. You're sketching out an adventure. Act 1, what's going to get us started. Act 2, kind of, what's going to go on while we're there. And then Act 3, where, how's this all going to end up, right? We got to get our dingus, if you will. So mission objective, enter the dangerous place, setting, and retrieve the vital dingus, which is the prop for the adventure, or valuable person. That's the participant. In this case, I'm going to be using a prop, and overcome the area's defenses to do so. Now, one of the cool things about the Adventure Builder, it also has some really cool options here. Right, so the goal is not to extract a thing, but destroy a thing. No, that's not it. The goal has moved. No, I don't want to go with that. The item is actually going to be in the museum, so that's not working for me. And then option 3 there, the goal is information, which must be broadcast or otherwise released from the area. Nope, that's not going to work. So let's go to 4. Job must be done without alerting anyone. That is more along the lines of what I want to do. Option 5, PCs don't know the place is dangerous. I think they're probably already going to know that. PCs must replace a thing with another thing. Ooh, I kind of like that. I am going to use that. Okay. So now that I've chosen that, we're gonna call this the idol, which I already have created. That's called the Idol of Isil Tahar. Now, one of the cool things here is I can actually pull this up here in the quick edit, and near priceless artifact. It's got magical qualities. No magical qualities actually is the case. Exonates, that's a name of a group in my campaign. Exonates Inclinatum recently hired a local dwarven guide who claims to know its location. All right, so that's actually what's going to happen in one of the prior adventures, and I already wrote that in there. Snake-shaped idol. You can actually change the image from here, and I do have this image, and I got this from Pixabay, so it's just a basic image. Easy to do. I'm just going to throw one of these pictures in here. I'll pull up my other image later, and something of a snake or something like that. So that's a nice thing. So you can edit right there. PC group, they actually haven't started this campaign yet, so we don't have a name for their PC group, so I'm just using PC group right now. All right, someone needs help. All right, so what are we going to do here? Someone needs help. How are we going to get them convinced to break into the museum? Let's say... I know. We will use one of the main characters in the town. His name is Ezkiel. And needs help. I'm just going to leave this pretty basic right now. You click off of that, and then it's going to give you this little pop-up. So Ezkiel needs help getting the real item out of town. Oops, got to spell that right there. Doesn't matter. I can go back and edit anytime. All right, now you see this little check mark here, and that's actually already created in my campaign. It's just sitting there waiting for me, but I can edit it from right here, and we'll put in some details here. So as Keel approaches the players at a bar or a casino, I have some casinos in this town, and requests that they secretly break into the museum and replace the idol with a fake. All right, put that in there. I can also write a secret here. So in this case, Ezkiel actually is afraid that the idol will be stolen by another group. Of who? Cultists. Of cultists. Perfect. All right, there we go. We'll save that in there, and I can come back in and put in a picture there. I actually really like to use something like Pixabay, where you can just pull a picture out and not worry about the rights or anything like that. But you know, if you've got pictures you like, that's fine. All right, so where is this going to happen? This dangerous place. This is actually going to be in the Museum of Grok, right there. And you can see it just pulls it right up. And it's going to let me know, hey, I've got a picture of that. I've got a little bit in there, and I haven't put a whole lot of description in there, so I probably at some point need to go in here and type in like how many guards, and let's just do 4 guards. We can put that doors locked after 5 p.m. All right, and 1 way in and out. Ooh, that'll make it hard. All right, so very good. So getting in, right? So this is the first encounter, and party must get into the museum. All right. And again, so for get past the guards and open locked door. All right, now that's a basic description there, but at this point, what I would try to do is maybe create some kind of a puzzle, right? So maybe there's a trick to the light, or we might have a lock that needs to be picked. Well, it's not really a puzzle. All right, so we're going to create some kind of a word puzzle. Word and number puzzle. That must be deciphered. All right. And then in the secrets here, I'm going to have to figure out what this puzzle is. So I'm just going to put this in as a placeholder, build puzzle later. All right. And we are going to make this entire page secret because I don't want them seeing anything more about this, right? So I can actually do that here too. This doesn't need to be secret, but yeah, that needs to be secret right there. All right, so who is our guardian? All right, so in this case, I think what I want to happen is while they're breaking in, I've got the 4 guards that they're going to have to avoid. They don't want to kill the guards, right? Maybe that's a restriction of the adventures, that they can't kill any guards, right? So I'm actually going to add that in. Can't kill guards. So I'm going to add that in there so I don't forget. All right, and then the guardian's actually going to be some members of a cult. I have a few cults that I can choose from, and it is looking for a character there. So we'll just call it cultist of the Blood King. Blood King is kind of a reoccurring big bad evil guy in my campaign. He's got some funky names, but cultist of the Blood King. So right here, it's going to say a minor cultist in Larakesh. So this is not a big bad evil guy. It's just somebody who's going to break in at the same time that they are, trying to get to the idol first to get it to I know who, right? So we're going to call this the fake idol of Izil Tahar. Substitute that in there. A fake made in Larakesh for the museum. We'll talk about that later. Let's substitute that. All right. All right, so let's see here. Now we got the the cultist here. All right, so I think I want to put a little bit more about this person. So, so trained to be willing to give their lives for the cult, working closely with Belloc. Belloc is one of my big bad evil guys for this campaign. Minor big bad evil guys, not super tough, but he's enough to keep them busy. That's what he's for, right? Closely with Belloc, and an exonate. So the exonates in my campaign they're like world explorers. Think of it like world explorers. Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom kind of stuff, right? So we're going to have them fight these cultists. We're going to give them secrets here. I'm actually going to add, we're going to be 12 hit points, 1 die, 6 plus 1 damage, 1 attack, and this will be clever, burst into flame. So it's like a bee, right? So they burst into flame, will result in their own death, but does 6 damage, fire damage. To those within 5 feet. We'll say it lasts 3 rounds. All right, so they burst into flame. They're going to die at the end of this, but at least they go out taking somebody out. We'll do plus 1 damage, plus 1 attack. All right, they're not too tough, right? So what kind of AC are we looking at here? We'll give them a 13. See how easy it is to create these big bad evil guys? Right, I don't have to do a whole lot. Our description can be dressed in ornate robes with black hoods. All right, and I don't want to go too much further than that. We're going to say they use the scimitar, which I never can spell correctly. Hey, I spelled it right. Nice job. And again, we're going to make this secret. All right, minor cultist. I'm going to save that. We'll find a picture later. Boom, done. All right, getting out. All right, so since there's only one way in and out, how are they going to get out without being noticed and with the item? Let's say enter city sewers. All right, no way in through the sewers, but there is a way out through the sewers, and that will be must find the exit into the sewers of the city. All right. Now, they've already been beat up pretty good, so I have to figure out in this encounter, are we going to be looking at another battle, or is this some skill checks? So I'm thinking I want to do a skill challenge here. And the way I do a skill challenge, and I didn't think of this myself, is you essentially think of something hard that they need to do. They get essentially 3 tries, right, or 3 losses. So if they miss the challenge 3 times before they make the challenge 3 times, they have to make it up to 3 times, then they fail and something bad happens. Either they take some damage, they drown, something like that. So we're going to think of a skill challenge, 3 loss, 3 win challenge. And they have to tell me what skills they're using, right? So they're going to use survivor skills or nature skills, whatever, and give it a DC of 13. That's hard, but not brutal. All right. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do DC 10 first challenge, then DC 13, then DC 15. Harder and harder each time. All right. So we'll do that. I can come back in later and add to this. All right. And I am going to make this entire page secret because we do not want anybody to see that. All right, out to safety. We're actually going to have them come out in the bathhouse. Crystal Plains Bathhouse, which is a location in my little town. All right, I have a pretty good little adventure set up here. We're going to call this, we could call it just breaking and entering, but I think I'm going to go with, I don't know. We're just going to call it Steal Back the Idol. Because at this point, they actually had the idol stolen from them, right? So they're just stealing it back, right? All right, so we're going to save that. And the adventure's created in my campaign. It's going to take me right there. Now, why do I start like this? All right, it took us a little while, right? I like it doing it this way because I now can do my connections. And I'm going to connect this into my campaign. So we're going to put this in my folder, Lost City of Kahortan. The setting is actually, overall setting is going to be Larakesh. Right. Ezekiel is going to be a participant. He's actually going to be the mentor for the group. So I'm going to put him down here in the main protagonist. All right. So there we go. I'm sorry. There we go. And Ezekiel. Keat. Sorry. Got my own character's name wrong there. All right. And save that. And now we've added them in. So you can see I've got some things I have to work out, right? So I've got a little bit on the cultist here. I found out a little bit about this cultist. I'm going to have to give some more information here about this cultist. I've got the secrets there. Of course, my players can't see that. But I have a pretty good start here for an adventure. All right. And I can click back on the name of the adventure. It takes me right back here. You can see I've put it into the correct folder, Lost City of Kahortan. So I need to come back, right? So I'm going to have to come back and flesh this out. I've got some pretty good villains that are going to fight inside. I need to figure out the details about this puzzle, but I am ready to go with an adventure, and I can work on it. I am going to have to add in a map, right? So this is going to take place in the Museum of Grak. And I've been wanting to work on a map for that anyway. So a lot of times I'll either ask one of my players to build one if they like to build them, or I will go and purchase one from Drive-Thru RPG or something like that and use that as my map of the museum. And that is that. So I think it's a really, really good system. Very, very simple. I've been able to capture 90% of what I want to do for my adventure. And this is going to be weeks from now, so I still have plenty of time to work on this. That took me, 30 minutes or so, something like that. So it didn't take me a whole lot of time, and I got plenty more to do, but I feel pretty solid on this adventure. And it's going to morph, right? So it's going to change as I think through things. And that is about it. Maybe I'll come back and I'll work on that cultist and think about how to make that a little bit more interesting, and what are they going to wear, and how is all this going to work out inside the museum, especially once I have a map, right? So I might add some encounters. There might be some traps in there to protect the idol to keep people from stealing it. I can add all that as I go along. All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. This is Raven Small. You've been watching GM Tips. Best thing you can be doing right now is having a great time with people you care about, and I hope you're doing that. Have a great day.